And okay, woo, that's crazy. Hello, I'm sorry, I'm late. I had some surprise work today. Just sort of plopped into my lap at the very last minute. Let me just double check that I'm not talking to the air and make sure that it did actually go through and I am live. I am indeed live. Hooray. Okay, yeah, surprise work. Good stuff, good things only, but definitely a surprise. And I did lose track of the time, and I will be going back to it when I am done. But in the meantime, I am actually here, and we are going to be drawing some line art and listening to some music at the same time. I am pretty much all the way better, no longer sick, so we can chat nicely today, and I'm not gonna go off the deep end, off the rails like last time, and hopefully I won't cough on you, like auditorily, or yeah, auditorily. That's right. Anyway, let's get into it, and I will chat about what I'm doing, about the line art and drawing process, as well as like what we're doing it for, which in this case is my comic. So let's just get into it and get some music going, settle in, and draw. Let's do something. Okay. Hopefully the audio of everything is good. Not too loud, not too soft, that sort of thing. Let me actually shift this down. I want it to be in the background, you know? You gotta listen to my voice instead of anything more entertaining or fun than that. Okay, here we go. Let me just make sure I can see all of the things I need to see, like my reference image and the stream health and all that sort of jazz. And let's get to this. So we are drawing these comic panels, and right now we have already prepared our sketches, so we are heading straight into the line art. You can see from the layers on the right hand side of the screen, so you know, this side of the screen in that direction. I don't know any good I'm not an expert stream overlays, so we're just gonna do things like that. I'm just gonna adjust the opacity of everything. I like to keep the opacity of everything really low when I'm referencing it. So we got like maybe 10 or 12 for the sketch, and then for thumbnails, which is like the original drawing, here I'll show you. Right, this drawing right here, I like to keep it at like 3%. It's basically off, but I do kind of like to be able to see 2 to 3%. I like to be able to see what the original intent was, and like, you know, I often draw out where I want speech bubbles to be. And what am I doing? Line art. That's what I'm trying to draw. Okay, so now that we've got the opacity of our references, and which is basically the sketch and the thumbnails, then we can get into drawing the final line art that's actually going to appear in our comic. So yeah, the whole point of all of these streams is that I'm sharing what it is. I recently updated my drivers, and I just realized the settings are not what they used to be. Yeah, so with the streams, this isn't the first one, obviously, because you're now seeing me like right in the middle. Why is that so different? Oh, that feels so different. Hold up. Why? Let me check my... That's unexpected. I need to check the properties. The driver is not responding. That explains a lot. Oh no. I might actually have to like stop and start stream. Does that even work? I think it will just destroy it, right? Yeah, I'm having like some legit technical difficulties. Because if this isn't responding, I'll have to just restart my computer. It's not responding. Click OK to restart the driver. Pretty please work. Otherwise we're gonna have a big problem. Okay. I might just like drop right off right now, because usually this requires a complete computer restart. I'll see if I can get the stream going again, but like I'm pretty sure if I stop now it just considers it a stream end. Let's see what happens. Okay, hold on. That is not correct. Okay. Alrighty. Let's try that. You hear yourself? 1 sec. Okay, apparently this thing is still live. Alrighty. Okay. Okay. No, that's not what's happening here. That's not what's on my screen. Oh, now it is. Okay, now it is. Alright. Oh, crisis averted. Crisis averted. I was trying to restart my driver, and no matter what I did, it was just telling me that there was an error and that it just wasn't available or something. So I just reinstalled everything, and then of course that means that I had to restart my computer, and it was like a whole thing. And now I need to reset up my stuff, which I usually have ready before I start streaming, which is just my reference images and things like that. So yes, just technical difficulties. Give me a moment to like reorient myself and get everything going again. And we got that character sheet and that character sheet, and we open them and we pick them off and put them to one side, make them smaller so that we can see them without them obscuring a whole screen. Oops. And like that. And like that. Okay, that should do. Just let me scooch it off to my side, and that should do the trick. That should do the trick. Yeah. Okay. Oh, we're live. I'm so relieved. Right. Let's listen to something calmer. Because, like, now that that's happened, I'm like, okay. No, stop. Hello? Who said you can play? Who gave you the permission? Breathe. Woo. Woo. Wee. Woo. Whoa. What? Cartoon? Cartoon, huh? Cartoon. That sounds interesting. Cartoon? Oh my god. Oh, no. That surely is copyrighted. Come on now. Let's try this. Oh. Alright. Okay, so far so good. A bit mellow. A bit dramatic, to be honest, for this. But you know what? I'm done fiddling around. Let's get this going again. I don't think I need to explain it, right? I'm just adjusting everything so we can work with it. Line art time. For real this time. No more technical difficulties. At least I hope so. I don't even remember what I was talking about, except that whoa, that threw me off. I said that I would talk about the process, right? To be honest, I don't really know like how one is meant to talk about the process of doing line art, because it's just drawing lines. I'm like, you put pen to paper and away you go, right? But I guess I could talk a little bit about the whole concept of line quality, and that's something that the term, at least, is just referring to sort of the thick and thin of a line, which you can see me struggling with right now as I cut away at the lines I'm making. Yeah, but essentially it's this, right? You see that change in the thick and thin, and that is what is called your line quality. And there's a whole idea around like what good line quality is. You know, in some cases you might not want any line quality, right? You just want a perfectly static line that has no variation in how thick or thin it is. And of course, in the case of my line art, I do vary how thick and thin it is. And there are some basic principles behind like what kinds of lines you want to make thick and what kinds of lines you want to make thin. And it's kind of like a hierarchy of importance when it comes to your lines, right? So it's like these little creases in the face are typically not going to be particularly thick compared to the lines that basically denote your shape, right? Especially these like outer edges here, right? So it's like if you've got the face, right, then the lines making up the face are and like the major features of the face, right, are more important than like the little lines denoting like their smiles or their bags or whatever, right? So that can that can affect what lines are going to be thick and thin. There's also just like, generally speaking, lines taper off. So that's another thing to consider. So usually your line isn't going to be like thin, and then it just ends in one super dark, super thick area. And then of course there is light and shadow. And there's also what could be considered the weight of the thing that the line is depicting, right? So lots of ways to like go about choosing, but I think for the most part the process of how a lot of the choices are made does become unconscious. But it is good to kind of keep it in mind, and I think remember like why a line is thick or thin. Sort of look at your drawings, look at other people's drawings, and kind of consider, do I like the way the lines are and why? And then that can help with also like reinvigorating your drawings. I remember a teacher from when I was doing animation kind of talking about some sort of program that existed where it was like industry professionals and veterans would go and take this particular program when they were feeling stuck with their work, and the entire concept of that program was to revisit the basics. So oftentimes I think artistically we can get caught in our artistic tendencies, like the choices that we tend to make when we are creating our artwork, and you get so used to drawing in a particular way or creating in a particular way that you're actually no longer creating from your principles, you're just creating from your habits. So reminding ourselves to like consciously think about the principles of our craft, I think, is really nice. A really nice reminder. You know, you're never too good for the basics, I would say. Like, I'm never too good for the basics. Nobody's ever too good to remind themselves of the basics of their craft, I think, because it's funnily enough always the area where I think I slip up, and most people do, where you'll look at something and be like, dang, that's like a newbie mistake, but it's sort of like the advanced version of that noob mistake. And it's like, it doesn't just apply to the arts, obviously. It's kind of across all different types of skills. And yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, can be so many things good about a piece, and then I realized that I just ignored some fundamental thing related to like anatomy or something like that, and it's just like, gosh darn it. Like, so funny, but in a way that makes me go like, I wanna like smack myself. You know, it's like, who's gonna believe you when you tell them you have like more than a decade of experience if you behave like that, or not behave like make stuff like that. But I feel like what's interesting is, in terms of being able to recognize what is skill and what is just like, what is a skill that took a long time to make, and then what is sort of cool looking but not particularly impressive. That's one of those things where it's usually only the people within your skill who have also learned it can tell. I don't know if that sentence made any sense. Basically, there's a lot of times where, and I don't think this applies just to drawing, I think this applies to a lot of skills where people are like really impressed, where something that looks impressive to someone who doesn't do it might not be that impressive to someone who does do it. But then sometimes things that look really mundane to the person who is unfamiliar with that skill actually look really impressive to those who know it. So it's like the kind of art, for example, that's impressive to someone who doesn't draw is different from what is impressive to someone who does draw. It's kind of weird, huh? But the whole point I was trying to do, I'm trying to focus on, is around line art. So we talked a little bit about line quality, and then I blathered on about fundamentals and went on a real tangent there. So what else do I want to say about line art? So I think there's also the other concept aside from line quality, and then probably a more important concept, which is your line confidence. Essentially how comfortable you feel moving your body to make those lines, which is your shoulder, your elbow, and your wrist, depending on how large the drawing is. Most of the time, because we draw on these like tiny little tablets and screens, for digital artists, I mean, not all artists, but for digital artists, a lot of us have little tablets. Like me, I have a little tablet that I'm using. It's a lot of wrist movement, but actually, if you want a really nice line, like when I want a really nice line, I will lift my hand like off my tablet so that it's not resting in one spot. So if you want to see my like range of motion when I have my hand resting on one spot, it's like this, right? So this is about my range of motion with my hand attached to the tablet. And then if I lift my hand off and I'm just touching the pen and I'm using my elbow to draw, suddenly I can like move a lot more. You can kind of see the curvature of the lines is also a lot smoother. See that? I hope that came through, even though you can't see my hand. But it's good to keep things in the elbow, at the very least, I think. If you get too used to wrist drawing, it like messes you up, I swear. I don't want to sound dramatic when I say that. I hope that didn't come across dramatic. Yeah. But the idea behind line confidence isn't about using your elbow or your wrist or whatever, but it's really about that confidence and the psychological block that people can have to putting lines on paper, where there's almost like this like fear of the line being shitty or something. And to be honest, I don't really get that, because when I was growing up, my parents always encouraged me to just draw. And of course there's the whole thing around like not using an eraser, Like they'd be like, if you don't like the drawing, just start a new drawing. And so that got me, like, it meant that I never developed the habit of, oh no, I need to like go back and undo and undo and undo until I get the perfect line. And I think a big part of that is a lot of us tend to be in editor mode rather than creator mode, and those are two different modes. So what happens is that you're busy trying to make something, and I think this applies like not just to drawing but to basically any creative pursuit where you're coming up with something. Could be even a work idea or something. And before your brain can even begin to start pumping out ideas, like get in a roll, get in a groove, and to start firing off those idea making neurons, you're going into editor mode. And the whole point of editor mode is to cut down, right? Is to like remove and to check what is wrong and what needs to be fixed and that sort of thing. And the mental mode of thinking what is wrong and what needs to be fixed is just so different from what could this be. So it's like let your hand, let your arm, you know, your whole arm, from your hand to your elbow to your shoulder, be free. Be free to move and make whatever lines it makes. And you know, I think part of line art is to practice allowing your whole arm to make all the different shapes, right? Show your arm how to make lines like that. Show it how to make rounded shapes, right? And curvies. And after a while, it's almost like trust. Like you trust your arm. Some of my best line work, at least to me, is when I'm not even thinking about it. Like I'm not even really paying attention to the line that I'm drawing. I just know, okay, I need a line there. And before I've even consciously made the decision to draw it, my hand's already moved. And then those lines tend to look the best, versus when I'm like, okay, that spot's a tricky spot. Let me just really, really think about it. That puts me in a weird mode, and then I suddenly end up in a situation where I'm constantly redrawing the lines and redrawing the lines. But yeah, so that's a little bit of rambling related to line confidence. And it really just comes down to like letting your arms do what they will. And in terms of actual practice different kinds of lines. So like straight ones, curvy ones, and then like round shapes, right? And I would say don't do it digitally. If you're starting to draw, I wouldn't start learning how to draw through drawing on a tablet. Or at least that wouldn't be my only move. If you're like really interested in learning to draw digitally and you're just like, I don't really care about pen and paper and I'm not motivated to use a pen and paper, then you know what, I would never discourage someone to like just learn however you want to learn. Definitely I would say if you don't have a preference, start with pen and paper and then learn with digital software. But it's not going to be the end of the world if you don't, right? Like it's just fun, man. It's just drawing. It's not that serious. All right, what else do I have to say about line art? I feel like it's really not that complicated of a topic. I've covered most of it. Did I forget anything? I guess there is the whole difference between line art with pen, like a inking type line art, and doing what I'm doing here, digital line art. And I would say it does feel pretty different. When I first started like making digital art, I did not make anything with line art. I was only interested in digital paintings. And so that's what I focused on for years. And I never like drew the way you see me drawing now. When I first started doing it, I hated it because the sort of hand movements that I used for inking didn't work when I was working digitally, right? It's like when I'm inking, I'll go like nice and slow and get my line out perfect. And then when I'm looking at like what I just did there, if I were to do that, right, on a piece of paper with my inking pen, it would look perfect. It would be a perfect looking line. But when I'm doing that digitally, you see those minute tremors in the line that I don't have in this spot. Like, you know, like this line is smooth, but this line is all jaggedy. And that's basically the sensitivity. And it might have to do with like my settings. It might have to do with the fact that I don't use a super like high-end tablet. I don't remember if those were factors that affect it, but it is something that I noticed, like even when I was in art school, because that was where I first, you know, saw a tablet. Before that, I was just drawing on my own, self-taught, and then I made a portfolio from my self-taught stuff, and then got into art school. But anyway, that's another personal story type thing. But yeah, there is a slight difference in the technique, I think, when it comes to digital versus like traditional inking, and that I would be remiss not to talk about, you know. And of course there's the fact that we can just erase whatever line we don't like. That was definitely something that actually bothered me at first, because when you're, you know, inking with paper, you just draw the line once, and if you screwed it up, well, why did you screw it up? Don't screw it up. But there was never like a concept to me of screwing a line art up, and there was never this idea of redrawing it. There was only, okay, I've got my sketch and it's ready and it's perfect, and let's do the line art now. But then when I'm doing it digitally, there's so much, like right here, what I'm doing, where I'm just altering the lines here and there, here and there, here and there, and can't do that on a piece of paper. So as someone who never bothered doing that, when I first moved to digital line art and I couldn't get my lines just perfect, I'm like, let's just start right over from the beginning, because that's what you would have to do, right? If you truly messed up some line art. But then that doesn't really work digitally. And when I would see like friends of mine do their line art and, you know, do the thing, draw the line over and over and over and over and over again until it was the line that they were looking for, I was just amazed. I was thinking to myself, I'm never gonna have the patience to do that. So I just didn't for years. I just focused on painting digitally, because that was what I was interested in at the time, and that was the kind of art that I enjoyed the most, where there was no line art. Their behind the scenes process, the artist's process, would be to like block out the colors and then slowly paint in the details from there. And that's what I did, because that's what I wanted to do. But now here, look, here we are in line art land, and suddenly these days, because of my comic, I do way more line art than I do a painting, and my process has changed a lot, and I feel like it's also a lot more complementary. My process is more complementary to my medium, like this digital medium now, than it was before. Before it was just oil painting techniques, but digital. Which is like nothing wrong with that, obviously, but I just feel like I can work a lot faster now and even get a painterly look still when I want to, because of like just making use of the qualities and the nature of this tool as well. So, okay, that's a few more things around line art. What else can I share about line art? I feel like those were all pretty interesting, maybe? I can't tell if this looks good, y'all. I'm like, is that good or is that shit? I can't tell. You know what? I hate it and I'm gonna start over. That's what I've decided. And I also decided I don't want to draw it at this angle, I want to draw it at this angle. Honestly, the rotate tool is so important, otherwise I feel like digital art would be just completely unviable. Because, you know, when I'm drawing on a piece of paper, I can rotate the piece of paper. Imagine not being able to rotate your art. I would cry. But I actually don't rotate that much digitally. I feel like because if I stay in the rotated position for too long, I notice that my computer dies. I think it must eat a lot of RAM. I like this eye better, I think. Do I? Or am I just... I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know anything anymore. I don't know anything anymore. And my throat hurts. So I'm so close to being well, but I'm not quite well. And I've got tea available. But I don't want to pause. Because we already were interrupted today. That was sick. That's fun eyebrow. Let's check. Yeah, that does. Yeah. Let's make sure I'm not on rotation. Okay, this is it. Yep. I should honestly update my character sheets. They're a bit not right. But it's fine. I know what's not right about them. So it's okay. Oopsie. Alright. So yeah, this is the other thing with digital line art. I don't know what to call it, but I like to slice into my lines like they're a cake or a sculpture. So I got my line and then I slice it up and make it into the true line that I was looking for, right? Something like that, perhaps, as an example. And you can't do that. You can't do that with a piece of paper. So I would say that's one of the unique things about line art. What I think would be so cool is the people who freaking blow my mind are the ones who do those like hair thin line arts that look absolutely perfect. I'm just like, what are you on? Like, what kind of person? Like, it just looks insane to me. It looks so painful. Like, you must be there all day just doing one guy's face or something. That's what it looks like to me. I like my line art a little thicker, as you can see. You know those like pencil thin line arts that are like, I don't know, 3 pixels? And I'm just like, how do you get anything out of 3? Like, I like my, for example, right, the thickness of the line itself helps create this like lash shape, but they'll be like, oh no, yes, my line art is going to be like that, and I'm going to like draw out each of the lashes, and that's the line art. And I'm just like, you are crazy, this line art, you know what I'm saying? And it's so clean, unlike what I'm doing right here. Right, they draw it so clean and so thin, and I can't imagine wanting to do that. Right, like that. It's actually, this is not going too badly for me. That's not too bad. It's not too bad. You know, look at that. That's pretty clean. It's ugly, but it's clean. Pretty clean, all things considered. Okay, enough joking. Enough faffing about and dilly-dallying and all that nonsense. Let me get back to work. What is the context of this image again? She says that, and then, yep, I was just this, here, this, and then it just saying this, saying that, okay. Alright, I know what's happening. But you don't. Oh, yeah, no spoilers in these streams. That's right. You can watch these streams and we can talk about art and you will not get spoilers from my webcomic here. No siree Bob. Or at least I hope you won't get spoilers. I will do my best, but I do tend to kind of Tom Holland these things, you know, whoopsie daisies and all that. Alright. I'm just taking a moment because I really want to make sure I nail the expression here. Because the expressions are crucial. And I'm all about expressions. Like my whole life in drawing. You know. Some people are really good at doing those like endless faces with no expression. You know, the dead face. And those are good too. Like I quite like those. And when people who have that sort of look with their style, like the no expression face, when they make comics, because it's kind of like a cat, you know? A cat is technically not making any expression. They don't have the facial muscles too, but they just got one of those endlessly interpretable faces where, depending on the context, you can just imagine that they look annoyed or happy or whatever. And I think it's the same thing with those like expressionless face art pieces, where like it's just a character and they just have this like absolutely dead look on their face. But it's endlessly interpretable. It's like, are they sad? Are they angry? Are they in love? You know, are they looking at their arch nemesis? It could be anything. And that's the beauty of it. You can put it in any context and it works. But that's not my style. I like dramatic, funny, fun facial expressions, and I love drawing facial expressions, whether it's big facial expressions or these like little subtle things around the mouth and around the eyes. Oh, that's the best, man. I'm not a dead face kind of artist, but respect, definitely respect. I think that's kind of the beautiful thing about art. And why I think it's kind of impossible. Like, how does one be jealous of another artist as an artist? Because you can be at the same skill level, but it's like they have a totally different approach, a totally different kind of skill set. Like, the way that they see the world and how that's expressed through their art is totally different. And so there's so, like, at least to me, I'm like, there's so much easy admiration because you just see someone whose work is so skillful and different, and it's like, wow, super inspiring. And it's like, it's inspiring and it's nothing like yours, so there's no reason to even feel any way about it, because you got your own thing going on, they got their own thing going on, everybody live happily ever after. Oh, I'm drawing big lines here. No, I don't need the lines to be that big. Oh, that's an interesting conversation, because I was just talking about style, right? Style as a topic is very interesting. If you can hear the kettle boiling, it's because I need tea. No, it's because my partner is boiling, probably making pu'er. He better make me some pu'er tea too. I just got an okay for that pu'er tea. Okay. But yes, the topic of style. I don't care about style. I remember when I was in art school, every now and then there would be these sort of like big Q&As where everyone would like gather around our lecturers and be like, oh my god, teach me your ways, sensei. And I remember one of the questions I would hear a lot from my fellow art students, and even now to this day, sometimes I get this question myself these days, but it's around like, how do you develop your style, or like what should your style be? And honestly, I don't think I'm the best person to dispense that sort of advice. I'm sure there are people who have plenty of great advice around developing a style, but I think of style in terms of design, like character design, environment design, very like project based. I don't really think in terms of what is my unique style as an artist, because to be honest, I don't care what my style is as an artist. I only care about making the kind of art I want to make. And if that so happens to all follow a particular look that people can pick out and say, oh, I recognize that as you know, as Aster's art, as Sydney's art, then that's cool. But that's not my goal. I don't care about developing an artist style. But if, say, I'm working on my webcomic, or I'm working on like another project like animation or whatever, then I care about style in the context of the project. You know, it's like, what is the style of this project gonna be? And that comes a lot down to what all those design elements in that story are trying to communicate, right? It'll be a really different style if it's for kids than if it's like a gritty adult sci-fi. And that's kind of where I care about style. But when it comes to personal style, I'm a very much like, just do what you want to do. And if that breeds a style, if a style comes out from doing what you want to do, then that's beautiful, right? But I honestly don't see the development of a personal style as a meaningful artistic focus for me. It's not something that I care about focusing on as an artist. And I think also for a new artist, that it can be a bit kind of paralyzing, nerve-wracking to think about like trying to develop your style. And then it's like, what if you develop your style, you like intentionally come up with an artist's style, and a few years down the road you're like, oh fuck, everyone expects me to draw in this or create in this particular way, and I don't want to anymore. So yeah, I don't worry about style. I feel like style is something that other people will notice about me, and I don't care if it's not there. I don't know if that's good advice. There might be another artist out there who hears me say that and they're like, no, worst thing ever. How could you say that? Well, I stand by it, okay? I don't care how wrong it is. I feel like it's just way better artistically. Way better. Don't worry about developing a personal artist style. It's a waste of time. That's my controversial take. Rawr. Yeah, and I think it's also similar to the whole idea of like creating original work. I think that can be a pretty paralyzing concept too. It's like what the heck is original, you know? So similar to the whole thing of like, what is my style? I think what is original is also kind of a waste of time question when it comes to thinking about what you're creating. I would say rather than worrying about whether or not what you're making is original, I would just worry about whether or not what you're making is interesting. First of all, to yourself, because you're human, and so your taste in terms of something being interesting is probably going to match some other human's taste in what is interesting. And of course, the other like people to consider is whoever your audience, your people are and whether or not they're gonna find what it is you're making interesting and meaningful, right? So you got the question, the overarching question of like, is this thing interesting and meaningful? And then it's like, interesting and meaningful to who? Well, first it has to be to you, because you're the one working on it and making it, right? And it's like, it's not meant to be a super deep question either, right? Interesting and meaningful could be, drawing a bunch of magical girls because you like cute outfits and you like drawing girls. It's not complicated. That's meaningful and interesting, right? It's not supposed to be like a super deep life philosophy question. It's just supposed to just make the decision-making process a bit easier. And also to just not worry about like, oh my god, what if I do that, it's not going to be original. Well, if it has like some reason for existing that's meaningful to you, and like has some sort of compelling aspect to it. And again, right, when I'm saying these words, it's not meant to be some sort of super deep question, although it can become that. But even something as simple as, well, I like stuff that's uplifting and fun, or something, or even just like exploring something dark and gritty is something I want to try at this stage in my life. All those sorts of answers can be the answer. I think one answer for me, to use myself as an example, is with this webcomic. I started it during COVID because I was doing client work only, and I didn't have any personal work that I was working on, and I was starting to feel really burnt out and thinking like, will I ever enjoy creating again, or have I just turned this into a job? And then as I was thinking about that, I thought, you know what, I need my own creative outlet. I need something that I can work on that isn't someone else's creative vision. It's just mine. No one else is telling me how the thing needs to be, how if I pick that color, it doesn't work for them, and blah, blah, blah. So that's why it started. And then why this story in particular is what I started working on. It was because it was just one of the many story ideas that I had in my folders that I thought was pretty funny. Like the whole idea of this really normal blacksmith guy trying to start a war just because he wants to like make more money. I thought that was just so funny. But then as I was working on it, it kind of became so real. And of course, the other thing was I put a few constraints on the project where I forced myself to do less world building, because I've had done many things in the past, personal project wise, where I just get stuck in the world building stage because I'm having too much fun with it, and then it never actually gets made. So I just did some what I consider to be bare minimum world building, but when I've shown it to some people, they're like, that's pretty extensive. So I hope, you get an idea of why I need to like force myself to stop. Otherwise, we really will be looking at like an actual full-on world where I'm like, no, I can't start until I've figured out the exact grammar, all of the words and all of that in this language, and of course like why they have these turns of phrase and blah blah blah. So I forced myself to not do any of that, and then got into just thinking about what exactly the story flow is going to be, and that was so good, right? So that was another reason in terms of why I'm working on this and why I'm creating it, is because it's forcing me to practice. With every episode, I have to work on writing the script for the episode, and then I've got to, work on storyboarding, and it's just making sure that a lot of my skills not only stay sharp but actually improve over time. So yeah, those are all parts of the reason why I decided to do this. And none of those are because this is such an original concept. In fact, once you take away the idea of trying to make something original, you get so much freedom to explore things, because you might hear someone like say something or read someone else's work, and then from there you're like, ooh, I actually do have my own spin I'd like to put on that concept, you know? Like one of the ones that I'm seeing all the time is the whole like I reincarnate after dying into a fictional character whose story I was reading prior to death. And there's so many variations on that, some good, some bad, but you know, it's sort of I think it's such an interesting concept still, even though it's, I feel like, kind of getting saturated. But it's only going to be saturated if the stories are bad, right? So I kind of have my own stuff that surprisingly does not involve reincarnation. Despite that being kind of the source concept, it's evolved from there. There's actually like a lot of story ideas I wish I could share with you guys the concept of, but then it would also simultaneously be spoilers because I do want to work on all of those things. Wee. Oh, this hair is looking too beautiful, you know? Hold on, I need to make it shittier looking. She's supposed to have messy hair right now. I got so into drawing the hair that I forgot to make it bad. I forgot to make the hair not nasty looking. Oh, the problems. What a problem to have. Like, oh no, I made the hair too good looking. At least for this situation. Okay, we saved it, and by saved it I mean we made it look a bit Good job everybody. Excellent. Okay, so that was just now my little spiel about originality and style. What else do we want to talk about related to art? We could talk about drawing people. Speaking of, actually, I've been kind of wanting to do a little something, but I probably can't do it just yet because, man, this month has been busy, and last month too. So much stuff. But I think this would be so cool to do like an art challenge where I take people who have no background with drawing, do not know how to draw, and then I teach them how to draw people. I think, generally speaking, that's probably going to be the most popular thing, and that's not why I would do it. I would do it because I freaking love drawing people. This is my number one thing. You know, in this life, if I wasn't doing this, I would probably just give up and become a portrait artist and just find a way to make that work. because it'd be like, I'm drawing people's faces all day. If I can find clients, man, that's pretty good. Like, I love drawing people. I don't know why that made my accent change. Blah, blah, blah. Let's recalibrate. There's a I don't know if I should say this. Yeah, I'm not gonna say it. Just wonder for the rest of your lives. Okay. Wow. I need a sip of my tea because my throat is burning. That's good tea. Nice. Specially brought. Yes. Sorry, I was just considering my drawing for a second, deciding whether or not I wanted to proceed. You see this compared to the earlier really thin line art? That was overly thin. That was jokingly thin. That was a joke. Oh, that's so good. That's a nice thick nose line, but it's not quite right, so we cannot use it. It's so sad. Oh, it's so close. Oh, it's so close. Oh, it's so close. It's so close. What? You know, it's so close. Maybe I just can't make up my mind. It's so close. Hold on, I think I should just rotate because I'm currently like leaning my head at a really weird angle. Ooh, that's pretty nice. That's pretty nice. Maybe we keep it, maybe. And maybe I don't do that to my throat by talking that way, Silly me. I scold myself. Bad. It's so round. Got a big old nose. Not that big, but pretty big. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Oh, I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know about my drawings. Let's just do an ear. An ear. Wow, I feel like I just suddenly entered the art block zone. But no, I don't get art block. I'm a professional. That is actually true. I used to get art block as a kid. But no, not anymore. Not in years, because can't afford to. Cannot afford it. This is my livelihood. I cannot afford to have art block. But yeah, art block is a luxurious concept related to receiving inspiration from life. And when you don't quite feel like you're receiving inspiration, art block, sad. But I think part of the suddenly our new topic is about being a professional. But no, doing art as work is a really different beast than doing it for pleasure. Right, you gotta be able to perform on a schedule, which honestly I have no problem with. I've never really been someone who like got the whole idea of art block. It was only something I really was introduced to as a concept when I met other people who were able to draw. I was definitely that kid who draws growing up, and I didn't really know about other kids who could draw until, of course, I got into art school, and then everyone can draw. But yeah, no, it was definitely that like small town, even though I didn't come from a small town, but that whole small town into big city where instead of being the one person in your town who can do the thing, suddenly you're inundated with all of these different people who can do all sorts of different things. That was a bit of the art school experience, and that was great. But also where I got the idea of art block and perfectionism. Prior to that, I was very happy to just like wham bam throw out art left and right, no worries, no cares, no concept of perfectionism, just making what I want to make, and then when I'm done, and I move on to the next thing. I was a very industrious little child, and very prolific, because I would just keep making and making and making and making and making and not stop and not sleep, and being a little nightmare to my parents maybe. But no, they were pretty chill with it, because it meant that they could just leave me in a spot with lots of paper for hours and come back, and I would be perfectly happy the whole time I was left there, because I would just be drawing that whole time. But all the paper would be filled up when they got back. So as long as they leave me with enough paper, as long as they left me with enough paper, then the paper would do the parenting for me. It's like the modern iPad approach, but just with paper. Just leave your child for hours with the iPad. It'll be fine. The iPad will entertain the child. That's what my parents did, but, with crayons. And it works so good. Yeah, I mean, like, why on earth did we move to iPads? Crayons work just as good. Unless your child doesn't know how to entertain themselves. Which, if they've been given an iPad since birth, they probably don't know how to entertain themselves. I'm getting on a real tangent, real tangent. What was I talking about? Professionalism. How did we get to iPad babies? Oh my god. My brain can really go places. Professionalism was what we were talking about. And working as an artist versus doing it for fun. So yeah, I think with working as an artist, you become more aware of what your process for making something is. I've had certain things where I have documentation for the type of styles that I've delivered for different clients, so that if they come back to me after a long time away and I haven't drawn in that style for a while, at least I have documentation explaining to me how to make that thing look like that if and when they come back and want more work in that same style. So that's something that I have, and I never would have had when I wasn't working, because I would just draw whatever I want, right? And who cares about whether or not everything is stylistically consistent or what? So the upside of all of that, and being more aware of the process, is that should there ever be a lack of inspiration, there is my own personal process to fall back on. No inspiration, no problem. Can still pump out something good looking. Now, of course, inspiration is preferable, or at least to me it is, because it's fun. It's nice to be inspired. But also the thing about inspiration is that it does kind of feel, or at least to me it does feel, kind of sacred. I was definitely someone who, as a kid, whenever I got an idea of something I wanted to make, usually it was something I wanted to draw, whatever, I would just stop everything. I would turn my life upside down just to get that thing done, because it was like, the idea hath strucketh. I must insist that everyone leave me alone so that I may make this idea happen. For who knows when the inspiration will strike again. The inspiration will strike again like the next day. I was constantly getting ideas for stuff I wanted to make. But I always wanted to make it when the urge was at its strongest. And usually the urge is at its strongest right when the idea hits, right? It's like, ooh, idea. And it gets you so excited. I'm sure there's a ton of dopamine when ideas hit or whatever. Because it's that like neural connections being made, right? Brain firing, neurons wiring nonsense, and then the idea, oh, so cool, the idea. And then a little bit later you're like, it's all right, or that's crap, right? After a while you're like, it's a pretty crappy idea. But yeah, I would get like something where I would need to draw it. I'd be like, oh, this is the drawing of a lifetime. I'm gonna make my master work. At like 10, age 10, just like, stop everything, everyone. I need to like draw a masterpiece. Man, I was like really into my work back then, but like kind of dysfunctional artisty, can't just drop everything as an adult. Just be like, stop everything. You're like in the middle of work, stop everything. I must go draw. What do you need to go draw? My idea. I had a stroke of inspiration. And everyone around you like, are you sure you didn't just have like a regular stroke? But I think no regrets, obviously. I think that was a beautiful time. The time where I really did have the room to just do what the inspiration was telling me to do whatever I fancy. And I think that's why, as an adult now, it's actually pretty easy for me to tap into that sort of like inspiration, intuition state of being, because I respected the crap out of it when I was a kid. It was my number one way of choosing what I was going to do. So yes, we have moved on from the topic of professionalism, and we are now moving into intuition and getting creative ideas. I would say now the way that I do it when I need an idea, especially like even for client work and stuff like that, I just take a shower. That's all. That's the secret. Just take a shower. And then when I'm in the shower, I ask, or actually I ask outside of the shower typically. I'll be like, I need something for this situation, right? Like, I need to figure out how to design this character, or how, like, what are we writing over here on this page or something. Who knows? Whatever the work may be. Whatever the work may be that I can't solve in any other way, or the idea doesn't like immediately strike me, or during the design process I can't figure it out. Shower. I go to the shower and I ask for the idea. I'll say like, give me a beautiful design. And it usually comes in the shower once I've asked for it. It's like you ask your brain a question and your brain will respond. All right. So if you're constantly saying like, why am I so shit at drawing, then your brain will tell you why you're so shit at drawing. It will answer the question. If you ask your brain for cool ideas, it will give you cool ideas. At least that's been my experience. This line art while I'm chatting is not bad, huh? It's almost like my arm got to go on autopilot while my brain tries to speak. So that is my little thing on intuition that I say here. We can actually talk more about it. I have a lot of really wacky things that I do and that I'm into. My whole life isn't just drawing. It's a really big part of my life, but it's just one part. But I want it to be, I want to be able to have the skills I need to bring out the stories. I feel like I'm not where I want to be skill-wise in story making, despite all of the years, Yeah. I want to be the best. There's certain areas where I'm like, I'm really, like, just at a mastery level, and now it's just a matter of just getting better and better all the time. And, but not everything's like that. There's a lot of things that are still really, I would say just better than average. Which is not a bar that I care about, really. I only care about being excellent. I really love people who are chill, because I have no chill. I just love being able to counterbalance my own just like kind of aggressive desire to improve with someone who's satisfied in life. I think being satisfied is a beautiful thing, and maybe one day I'll actually want to be satisfied. But for now, I am very happy to be an unsatisfied chaser of new things to learn and new skills to make better and existing skills to improve upon. And man, life's just way too interesting. You ever have conversations with your friends about immortality? Because I do. I've asked a few friends, like, what do you think about immortality? I have two main answers that I get. One is like, hell yeah, immortality. The other one is like, let me die young. And I think it's like, whoa, what an interesting contrast. Like, such different outlooks. Usually, the immortality camp, it's just because they're like, there's too many cool things to do. And I get that, man. It's like every second that you're alive, someone is, drawing something, writing something, making a new thing. And I'm just like, I'm not going to be able to read all the books. I already can't. Even if everyone in the world suddenly stopped writing new cool things to read, there's this huge backlog from history. How am I supposed to get through all of that? I'm gonna die first, and then I still have things that I want to do beyond just consume what other people make. There's so many cool skills to learn and like experiences that you can have and things that you can make. So I can understand. I guess not like immortality wouldn't be what I would want to go for, especially not true immortality where nothing can kill you. Like a pseudo immortality, or at least just double the lifespan. Man, 100 years? We don't even get 100. That's wildly short. Or at least I think that's wildly short. There's also the other camp of like, hell no, please let me die young. And that one's an interesting camp. Those are usually the friends who are who are just not particularly interested in the sort of like experiences that life has to offer, at least according to them. They're just like, this is pretty lame. and they just don't want to be old, right? It's like the body breaking down, and then having to deal with the health problems around that. They're just like, nope, no thanks, nothing is worth that. Sign me off. Like, I don't want, like, get me off this thing. Where do I cancel? and that's another perspective, right? It's like there's not this like desire to have just as many experiences as possible. It's just, I want this set of experiences, and I really don't want this other set of experiences. And that other set of experiences is, the experience of aging. But I mean, there's quite a lot we can do to counteract the experiences of aging, barring like a lifelong, what's the term again? Yeah, but barring some sort of like incurable disease that plagues you since you were born. If someone is born with like a relatively typical setup, right? Arms, legs, organs in all the right places. If you have that setup, you probably can do a lot more than you think to actually make your physicality really solid for a really, really long time. In my family, my uncle and my grandfather, they both were bodybuilders, and then continued working out and looking after their health. Yeah. My grandfather's already passed away. All my grandparents have passed away. And prior to him passing away, he was in very good shape. He was still mountain climbing pretty regularly, going to the gym all the time. Was just a really buff dude. And when he did eventually pass away, he passed away very quickly. Had a cancer, and then within a few months passed away. So his quality of life, minus the like last 3 months of it, was really high, right? Versus when we don't take care of our health, we can have just like chronic issues that last for years, for decades, and until we pass away. So I think it's really worthwhile just doing whatever is viable to take care of health, because it can really make your entire lifespan, like barring maybe the last little bit of it, really high quality. And then the process of looking after health, it's not even just like a long-term benefit, it's short-term benefits too, like short-term benefits that can come in within the first few weeks of making healthful changes. All sorts of stuff. People's skin improves, sleep improves, and then your mood improves. It's like, it's just too worthwhile, man. It's just too good. All right. Let's get this nose drawn and also rotate again so I can see the side profile more clearly. Oopsie daisy. We've gone on many cool tangents today, I think. Whoa. Yeah, let's shift that a bit. I'm gonna like scooch this down a bit. there's just too many cool things, right? Too many cool animes, too many cool movies, cool stories, cool games people are making. Oh, and then it's like I also want to make all of those things. It's not enough years, guys. Somebody double my lifespan. I already feel so pressed. I think that's why I'm a rushy person. It's like I can feel my mortality eating away at me, taking away all the time I could be spending creating new things, creating new fun stories. And then I have to also contend with my own limitations. I gotta sleep and eat, and if I don't like do things to entertain myself for too long, then I get antsy. Oh, human. Having to care for the human is like, whoa. Like, why can't you just do what I want you to do all the time? It's like having a disobedient sim. You know, it's like, no, study. No, I want to get a drink. Stop canceling tasks and finish what I told you to do. But my back aches. Your back aches? Why? Because I've been sitting and doing the tasks that you asked me to do for like 5 hours without moving. That's me, and that's me complaining to myself about what I make me do. But yeah, I used to come home from school and the first thing I would do was get on the computer because I was learning digital art, or I was teaching myself digital art. So for some context, I was self-taught up until age 12. So I did a whole bunch of I would participate in art competitions and stuff, and just do my own thing. And then when I was 12, there was this teacher who gave out a flyer for a new school that was coming out, and it was an art school. And I didn't want to go to a normal school, so I got my parents' approval to basically attempt to join this art school. And in order to do that, obviously there's a portfolio interview. So we prepared my portfolio because I'm a kid, right? I wasn't doing all this stuff myself. I had to help. So we prepared my portfolio, and then we went for the interview. And during the interview, they also gave a drawing test. I'm not sure how or why. I think it's because they want to... What did they make us do? I think they made us draw a seashell or something. But they wanted to see how well I think we can understand a reference or something like that. Who knows? It's been too long. Stuff from my childhood. I don't remember. But they gave us a drawing test, and they also gave us a writing test, because part of what happened at that school was all of our regular academic classes were different from normal schools. And one of those differences was that they would no longer teach us English. So they needed to make sure all the students that they accepted had a high enough standard of English to be able to handle that. Because instead of English, it was just literary analysis. So everyone's vocab had to be up to snuff to be able to follow literature, to all the different pieces of literature that we would go through, and to not have to worry that those kids wouldn't be able to keep up. So that's why we had an English test. The English test was simple. We were given a prompt or options of, I think, 3 different prompts, and then you just write an essay. So that was how they measured our English language skills. It's an essay writing. So how well can you organize your thoughts, how your use of language is, and how compelling is your writing. So, passed those and got in, and then the next place I went to was for animation. So the first art school I went to, that was primarily focused on, I guess what you would say is the traditional art forms, right? So there wasn't much in terms of digital art. We had one class called media art, and that was mostly focused on some photography, a little bit of video installation type artwork. Basically, when you go to an art gallery and they have those like weird videos playing from an artist, it was that was the class that we learned to make that kind of stuff. But it was also in that class where we started having access to tablets. And when I was a kid, prior to getting into this art school, like age 11, I already knew about digital art, and I'd already tried it with some software that I had installed on my computer. That software didn't have any layers or anything like that. It was pretty basic, but it was enough that I had some digital art in my portfolio when I applied to this school. Applied to the sort of like traditional art school that I was in. I was there for 4 years. 4 years. So when I was 16, then I went and started studying animation. And then again, going into that school, I didn't go in like normally. I did a direct transfer and applied through my portfolio. Again, I prepared a portfolio. And because I had that media art class, I used it as an excuse to start figuring out how to do animation. And of course, my media art teacher wasn't an animator, but they let me do it anyway. So I just taught myself how to animate. Primarily, what did I do? I used Adobe, what did they call it at the time? I think now it's called Adobe Animate, but yeah, Flash. It was Flash. It was called Flash back then, right? I'm pretty sure. It was Flash. And I used that to do my animation. I prepared a storyboard for it, and when I prepared a storyboard for it, and then from that storyboard I animated it in Flash. I did not get far, but I did do a pretty dang good job of what I did manage to do. I think I bit off more than I can chew, because I didn't know how time consuming animation would be, drawing it frame by frame. And that's what I was doing. I wasn't doing like My Little Pony puppet animation, which would have been smart. I was doing hand-drawn animation in Flash for some reason. But that's what I understood and knew how to do. So I included that in my portfolio for animation school. And then I included some other little animations that I started doing here and there. And that was it, really. Yeah, it was a pretty seamless process. I don't remember much anymore, because this is like really long ago. Let's get some music. It started pausing because it had been playing for too long. But yeah, so then I started doing animation, and of course my favorite, not of course, but my favorite is always going to be hand-drawn animation. When I was there, I did do 3D animation, but I haven't done 3D animation in so freaking long. I haven't done 3D animation since my school days, so It's just too long, guys. I don't know how to do it anymore. I don't know anything. I'm basically a complete noob. All those years spent learning it all drain at this point. I'm sure if my 3D animation teachers saw me today, they would shake their heads and be like, where did it all go? Huh? Alrighty, what else can I tell you related to art or drawing or something? Art or drawing or something. What did I learn in school? Honestly, I feel like my self-taughtness plus art school plus more art school plus work means that I don't know where anything came from anymore. But it was definitely very worth it for me, especially because when I did my animation diploma, I ended up getting that on a full scholarship. So I paid for, like, I think the first term, or rather my mom did, right? My mom paid, and then one of my lecturers approached me and said, hey, fill this thing out. Gave me a form, right? And said, fill this thing out, you will get it. And it was an application for their merit-based scholarship thing. Basically, like, if you're doing really well, you can get a scholarship. And I was like, what is this? And they were like, don't ask questions, just do it, because then you won't have to pay your school fees anymore. And I was like, well, okay, if you say so. And so it was just a fill in the form, apply, and no more school fees. They actually reimbursed that first term. So I didn't end up causing my parents any financial strife from my education, which was really nice, you know. So it's like, yeah, it was free. So in that sense, art school was really worth it to me, because I mean, it was free. So definitely would be worth it, right? If it's free and you get all your lessons for free, it's like totally 110% worth it. But I would say beyond that, it was worth it too. Like, our classes, our teachers were freaking phenomenal, right? I met so many, like, super cool people. Oh my god. I think it was just like a lot of us as students, we were like fangirling and fanboying a lot, because so many of our teachers had like worked on projects that were from our childhood, you know. It's like, oh my god, they animated that, they designed that character, they worked on the visual design of this show, and they're the reason why it looks this way. And I was like, that's so cool, you know. So that's definitely just priceless, right? And then you get to get advice from them and learn from them. And we had one of our teachers would collect the old classic Disney cells, like the original cell sheets from the movies, with the color painting on it, and then it's like all of it's cracked because it's been so long. Oh man, like, as an animation student, you know, it's the best. As an animation lover, to be able to see those original cells with all the paint still on them. Right? I don't know if anyone's gonna feel anything about that, but oh, it's amazing. That's amazing. But yeah, that was very cool experience. Everyone was awesome. And if I could go back and do it over, I would say I would spend more time with the people. I was a bit of a nerd. I would focus on my studies, or in this case on my projects, because there's not like, what do you study? I would focus on like getting my projects out. And also, because I was sort of used to the workload, it didn't feel too crazy. I met up with a friend of mine who was in my same animation course, and she told me that her and I think it was her cousin, who was also a year ahead of us, they were like, what the hell is wrong with this girl, me, because they didn't understand why I wasn't stressed with the curriculum load. And my answer to that is, I already used to the art school curriculum load from my previous school, so you know, I'm like mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually but yeah, I was prepared. I was very, very over prepared. And I was a little bit like over skilled too, like definitely not typical, because I'd been doing it for so many more years than most people had already, right? Like going into self-taught then into art school, I was like redonkulously over prepared, and I already understood how to animate prior to going to school, so it was really like kind of a bit like, what? Anyway, enough school stories. It's not interesting. I feel like the present is interesting, but I don't know how to talk about it. It's interesting to me, but I don't know if it's particularly interesting, because I just feel like I'm just constantly just sitting at my desk, and that's my life. Ooh, actually that's not true. I was in Bali, right? Like that's why our streams got interrupted. Oh man, that was really cool. Because like when I was a kid, I really, really wanted to go see dolphins, but the chance never really arose. It did once. I went on a family trip with my parents, I think somewhere either sort of late childhood or early teens, somewhere thereabouts, after years of being like, I want to see dolphins, Mom and Dad. After years of that, we finally had a trip where we could probably do it. This was a family trip, like to visit family members, but then we were also nearby enough to an area where we could go see dolphins. But on the day where we had scheduled to be free to do that, it rained. There was like a huge storm, and the boat trip out to see the wild dolphins, swim around and get in the water with them, it was cancelled. So in the end we were like, oh well, next time. We'll get them next time. Next time never came. Next time didn't come ever. Until like just like a week ago, where I was traveling with my boyfriend, and we were gonna meet up with a friend of ours in Bali to work together on a project, an unrelated to art, but I might mention it if anyone's curious. But yeah, we went to go out to work on this project, and then she told us, you guys need to go see the dolphins. And we're like, wait, what? There's dolphins in like here? And so it was kind of like a day trip out to this area called Lovina Beach, where they have these little speedboats with, I don't know boat terminology, but they have, so this is like the boat, right? And it has a little cover on it, and then this is like the front part, and then you sit inside here, and then it has these like things sticking out the side, like a long thingamabob on the side, both sides, and then that's attached to the boat. And so if we look at the boat from overhead, right, like here's the boat, and then it has these like big old lines on the side that are attached to the boat, and then from here it has this little like swing looking thing that dips into the water, and then you as a person, you get off and you hold on to this thing, and you are in the water, right? The water's whooshing past you as you hold on for dear life to this thing, and your body is here just hanging on as the boat is going at high speeds. And then there's like dolphins, right? Dolphins in the water here, all splishing by. So that's the setup, and that's what we did. We went out and we hung on to those little swing thingies, and we dipped our faces into the ocean, and we watched as the dolphins swam all around and underneath us and everything, and it was super cool. And there were lots of jellyfish, little harmless ones but they really sting like ant bites, and yeah, that was really cool. There's even one point where like we had seen a few pods of dolphins, and we decided to rest and have some snacks, right? So we stopped the boat and just chilled in the water with our snacks, and the guy who was like running the whole thing, we were all just chilling, and we saw another, like a huge group of boats coming by, like a different time slot essentially. And they came by, and there were so many pods of dolphins, but now they were sort of like in the front of the group of boats, and we were in the back. And I was like, that's fine, right? We've seen them. We don't need to hog the space. We can chill. And so there were all these dolphins that were now further away from us, as all these other boats are boating around trying to get closer to the dolphins. And I was just chilling with my partner, and then I felt like singing, because I was like, we're out in the ocean and there's dolphins, and it feels like the perfect time to sing, right? So I started singing. And what's interesting is that we started to get pods of dolphins coming closer to us. Now that could be a coincidence, or maybe they were interested in the different noise, right? Because aside from like people talking, a bit of screaming, and the sound of the motors of the boats, there's not much other noise that we're making. And I think maybe singing would be a different experience, right? Than just typical human noises. So maybe it interested them. We definitely had this pair of dolphins that I realized were just following us a lot after I started singing. And yeah, I recognized them because one of them had like a little blotch of pink, like right on the fin, just like a little blotch. And then the other one had a little nick like that. And the two of them kept coming up and like going right up next to the boat on several occasions. And it was so cool because we were just this random boat at the back of the group, but we had an entire pod just like show up. And because the it's the ocean, right? It's really deep, so they really feel like they're showing up out of nowhere because they come from really far down and all the way up. It's so cool, kind of terrifying and awesome. Yeah, that was that experience. And then, oh my gosh, on the drive back, it started raining. So it was really lucky. We managed to get out to see them early in the morning, because by the afternoon, by around, I think, 11:45 a.m., it started raining. Or maybe closer to noon, because I did have to take some time to change in the bathroom. So probably around noon, it started raining. And then our driver, he was driving us in the rain. And then because the area leading into the beach is, well, it's also Bali in general, like sometimes the road infrastructure is pretty sus. So he was driving this really sus road. And we ended up off-road at one point. It was crazy. He was stressed. I was like, at one point he seemed so stressed that I just had to give him a pat on the shoulder, like, it's okay, man, we're not gonna be mad, you got this. I don't know, I was like, don't, or not don't, but like, it's okay, we'll figure it out, we will find a way back to civilization. because it was pretty tough. Like at one point we were going through like bushes and things, and could see he was like stressed. There's probably a lot of reasons to be stressed, right? Like you don't want to be driving someone, your clients essentially, and then you end up like in some sussy off-road set of bushes or whatever. It's not ideal. But I didn't want to add to the stress, right? I was like, it's okay. We don't blame you. The roads here are crazy, even for locals. And there's no reason to be mad. We just seen dolphins after all. Like, why would I be mad? Anyway, but that was that day. That was very cool. And the rest of the time, it was mostly just chilling and working on our projects. Yeah. I actually have another YouTube channel that is completely unrelated to art that I've been maybe thinking about reviving. I used to post on it, I think back in my late teens, 20s, around there. I've been thinking about bringing it back to life because I've been thinking about talking about those same topics again, maybe. Basically around kind of emotional well-being, emotional intelligence type topics. I used to be very, very into talking about that. I never stopped being into it, but I kind of hit a period where I was like, do people really want to like hear this, and do I really want to be the person talking about it to them? But with YouTube, it's like whoever wants to listen to it can listen to it. I'm not lecturing anyone unless they want me to lecture them, yeah? Like right now. If you're listening to this, then I'm lecturing you. Not really. It's just, yeah, if you like me babbling about random things, then that's why you're here. And also for the line art. I think that's the main thing. And speaking of line art, do we have any more tips, tricks, commentary related to line art? I feel like, again, I've said this a million times, it's really not that complicated, just draw. But obviously that's not very actionable advice for anyone looking for that. Just draw is like, come on, seriously now? Just draw? Okay. That's looking good. I think I covered most of the ground related to line art anyhow. Maybe next time I'll think of more things related to line art. But for now, I think you got everything. Like, literally all there. If you've watched this stream, you know literally everything there is to know about line art. I can't. That's definitely not true. There's always more to know. That's the thing. Okay, that's the true message. In any skill, in any sub-skill of a skill, like in this case the skill of drawing and the sub-skill of line art, there's always more. And that's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of everything that we could possibly learn. There's always more. It's like each subject matter is infinitely deep. Boop, 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 boop. And then you might find yourself making different choices around your line art, depending on which stage of your life you're in and what your interests are, and there's just infinite fun to have. Immortality bliss. Yep. Just checking what I'm doing, making sure it works. Ooh, this is cute. This is a cute little song. Ooh. Da, da, da. Da, da, da. Wow. I'm overthinking this line. Someone stop me. Somebody stop me. Somebody stop me, bird. What is the most complicated thing on the human body to draw? I think it's the back because it gets not enough attention. and it's like one of the, like, in terms of like referencing, right? A lot of things, if you need to check, right, like what something looks like, you can just like look at yourself in the mirror and check. You know, your back is like, how do I look at my own back? How do I look at my own back? I actually turned my head there and realized the mic's in front of me. Oopsie. So I think the back is one of the most challenging. Like, screw ears and hands, those are easy. No, it's your back, because you can't even like check. Like, if I need to draw hands, I can look at my hand. It's right in front of my face right now. And you want to check like whether I drew a back correctly? Gotta get an entire reference. Yeah, it's the back, man. It's the back, I tell ya. It's the secretly tricky one. You know, your hand, it's like, oh god, there's so many appendages. How do I draw it? Your ear, oh my god, what is the flesh wiggle inside? I don't understand. Oh, you can look. It's okay. Both of those you can look at. It's okay. Your back, people underestimate it. It's like a big slab of flesh. People underestimate it. People like, oh yeah, just throw in the shoulder blades, put the spine in, you got your back. Boom. Boom, daddy-o, look. It's a person. It's a person's back. Oh, so easy. Right? Oh, look. They stick their head on. And then it's the back of a person. Yeah, something like that. Head should be a bit higher, right? But its looks can be deceiving. The back is not so simple. Which is a lie. It's not so simple. Okay. No. What is this? What have I done? Oh, that's nice. That's so cute. But she's not meant to be so cute. Sharper. That was a lovely line, but like not what I'm looking for. Beautiful, but not what I'm looking for. I'm sorry, beautiful line that I had to erase like that. That's why I erased you slowly instead of pressing the undo button. Because I'm mourning your loss. Okay. Ooh, we're missing something. Do you know what we're missing? We missed something. We missed something. Do you know what it is we missed? We missed this right here. This little cheek hollow. Very important. Look, it is in our whatchamacallit, character sheet. That, yes, is the word. Thank goodness the character sheet is there, otherwise we might have forgotten entirely. Oh, I forgot. You're not responsible for anything. This is my work. Wow. This is kind of a weird song that's playing in the background right now. I shouldn't draw attention to the music. It's just meant to be in the background. Shh. Oh, and we gotta remember to not care so much about the hair, right? We gotta make it messy. Messy, messy hair. Ooh, I guess like one thing we haven't really discussed is different line art styles. Depending on the line art style, the techniques are gonna be a bit different. But I mean, if you're doing digital line art, the main technique is to just draw the line, delete, draw the line, delete, draw the line, delete. That's gonna be universal. The draw the line, delete technique. Also known as the gosh darn it, why is this so annoying technique. But of course, you could defy that norm and draw your line art without erasing anything. I'd love to see that. I'd love to see someone do that. Maybe I should do that. Not for this project, obviously, because I already have a style to keep consistent. But man, that does sound kind of cool, huh? It's like whatever happens, happens. And then if it's really bad, you just start over, obviously. You gotta start over. That sounds kind of cool. Not gonna lie. Alright, you just, every single piece of line art, you just go. Bare minimum erasage. Bare minimum. No erase. No erase. Okay. Remember, no nice hair. No more Mrs. Nice Hair. Oh, 1 second. My hand is starting to like cramp up. You know what? When did we start? When did we start drawing? I don't even remember. Because I might need to take a pee break after this. If you don't mind listening to music for like a minute or two while I pee. It's a stream. People pee. Not on stream, but off the stream. People leave their streams to go pee. Right? Right? I'm sure that's a thing. Let's get some wiggly hair in. Oopsie. Alrighty. Cool. Alright. We want this to look messy, but because of we have the existing hair, so we still need it to look similar. It's the same. Like it comes from the same universe of hair. What have we got? Oh wait, hang on a second. This is incorrect. Look. Look, look. I'm so glad I left this on. Look how important this is. She's looking down. I hope that's clear in that one dot. You see that dot? You see the angle of that dot? Look at the angle of the dot. What? You see that dot angle? It's downward. Hello? God, I'm so sorry about all those. Oh, wait, no, that's the music. God, that's really confusing. No, that's pure evil. I can't listen to that. It was making me think I had errors. I was like doing something my software didn't want me to do. Okay. Yay! We fix. Okay, let's see. Ooh, I had a burp. Excuse me. So we're gonna wrap this panel up, and then I'm gonna take a pee, quick pee, and then come back before my bladder bursts. Oh yeah, and then some tea, you know, to help increase the next time that I have to go to the bathroom. That looks cool. That's a cute little hair section. Okay, and then we put the little shoulder piece in. Shoulder piece. And like that, we will make the arm. That looks nice. Okay, that's a cute little hair segment. Why do I smell chili right now? That's weird. I've been sick, and so has my partner, so we have not had any spicy things around. Oh wait, no. Okay, yeah, there's some chili in the house. Mm-hmm. Whoopsie daisy. The power of the elbow, as was stated earlier. Let's use the elbow again. And also the power of sound. Oh yeah. You see that? You see the way that line just... Okay. Yeah. But better. A better one. But a better one. Ooh, the one thing I didn't mention when I was talking about line confidence, don't construct your lines like you're trying to make a curve like that. Don't construct it by like trying to like chicken scratch your way to victory. Not because it can't be done, right? Like if you just try hard enough, maybe the chicken scratch to victory can make a line that looks good. And that's not bad, right? That's not the worst. I just wouldn't advise it. It's a bad habit because then you never develop that confidence in your muscles, in your hand, in your essence of your soul. I know that's a bit much, but yeah, you won't you won't develop that ability to just whoosh and then that line appears and it's perfect, right? And you want that. Trust me, you want that. You know, I had a friend who drew that way, the chicken scratch to victory. Wow. Pain. But like for her, not me. You can always chicken scratch your way to victory, but you know, it's like your drawing habits aren't going to be particularly strong, and then you're going to want to correct it one day anyway. So instead of practicing that way and drawing that way, just do it great from the beginning. it's been a while since I've like done line art traditionally, so I wonder what it would even look like. Like, I wonder if I still got it. Oh, it's already 9? Crap, man. I might have to stop here. That's craziness. That's crazy. I need to eat dinner. Oh, there's not enough hours, man. There's not enough time. I feel like we're making such good progress, too. Dang, dude. That's crazy. Absolutely insane. How is drawing? What is life? What the heck? How long have I been streaming for? Like since 7-ish, right? Because of the technical difficulties and delay. That's wild. Doesn't feel like that long, does it? That's craziness. I feel like I still have so much to do. How is that possible? Screw this. Screw time. You hear that, time? I absolve myself from your hold upon me. Take me to the liminal space beyond your grasp and allow me to create from the void itself. That was all nonsense. Or was it? What am I not telling you? I convinced my brother once when we were children that I could stop time. He was asking me, like, how do you get so much done? Like, how are you able to have time to finish your schoolwork and practice your drawing and blah, blah, blah. This was before at school. And I told him, well, you know, when I need to study, I just open this space that is beyond time, and I study in there as long as I need to. And then when I'm ready, I come back out, and then time flows as normal again. And I don't know if he believed me fully, but I think I said it convincingly enough that I created doubt. Because he was a little kid at the time, right? So he was like, that sounds like bullshit, but I can't tell for sure. But I think there is a certain extent of, there's our personal time perception. Sometimes time runs fast and slow. And so maybe that can have a contributing factor. Like right now, time was running a bit fast because I was having a good time. Having a good time here, despite the way things started. Oof, that was rough. That really freaked me out, not gonna lie. But, we got there in the end. And I think my dinner has arrived. So, man, I gotta eat dinner and everything. I can't believe how long it's been. Okay. Actually, this is a bit too far outward, so I'm just gonna bring it in. That should work just fine. Okay. We've done it. We've done our line art. Let's give it a save. And we have finished. We finally finished after like 3 streams. That's wild. Oh, you know what? I refuse to stop here. This makes me mad. Mad. I want to get to our final file. This is it. This is the grand finale. Oh, it's not that big. Oh, thank goodness. Good. We're gonna be able to finish this thing in 1 stream. I might do one tomorrow. Just no, I'm actually super busy tomorrow. Crap, I have like several meetings. Ugh, what do I have tomorrow? Yeah, that one. Yeah, no, aw, and then Sunday. Oh, and then I have to. Sorry, just internal logistics. But let me just do this one. Yeah, we do this one more. This one more. Just a little one more. And then we continue. And then I'll leave you be. I will release you. Alright, just don't mind me. I love just working on these little areas around the eyes, and that's when I go quiet, because I'm like really looking to nail it in. Versus hair, I'm like, oh, this is fun. I'm not going for precision, I'm just going for vibes. Okay. Okay. What do we got there underneath? Ooh, that little nick into the line there looks pretty good. And the music has turned jazzy. Oh yes. And just have it auto playing. I have no idea what's happening. Here we go. I love some fun angles. Whew. Excuse me. I actually want this a little lighter so we can see more clearly. Did it get to 10? Okay. My throat is dying a little. Oh, was that me? That wasn't the music, that was me, wasn't it? Oh, I hope you can't hear that. I drank my tea really fast and I burped. Okay, and then I want to adjust what we just drew here, like that. Hold on. You may wonder why I don't just use like this here, because that would be a smart person thing to do. So we're not doing that. How's that for an eye? 93%, 96%, 96 or 93, 94, 94. Okay, let's take a looky. Very nice. Dun 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 dun. Bum bum bum. All right. Oh, let's bring back the angle there. I don't want to kill my RAM. Let me get this line to line the line up. Line it up. Good. And then we draw in some of these hair bitties. I just love drawing these like more interesting angles of the face. So if I get quiet like that, it's just because I'm like having way too much fun with the drawing and I forget to talk. And anyway, we're getting near to like wrapping up the stream, so we can take things a little easier, I'd say. I say. Or maybe we should end strong with a lot of yapping. Okay. And this angle. Alright, it's a fun angle, sort of this like downwards. Okay, that's good for the ear. That's enough detail. Such a nice little line there. Let's wrap it all up. Whew. Good stream. Good progress, everybody. Oh yeah, we can't forget this detail. And I want a teeny tiny little eraser tool for that. How's that? I think the one side is fine, right? On this side it looks cute. These are all just choices. Any choice will do. That's a smooth line. That's a smooth line. Wow. But I don't want it to connect. It's like a near perfect connection, and I'm like, nope, cut. I want it like right like that, and then we just yes, like that. Oh, I left a little goober of a line there. Weird. Dun dun dun. Dun dun dun. Let's get this. Ito. Cooperate with mommy. I am your mother. I created you. Therefore, obey me. And do what I want. Yeah, that's pretty nice. That's good. 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 Yes. Good, 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 good. Making really nice progress. Really nice progress. I think, seeing as next time we are doing 6 panels, and today what did we do? We did 3. My goodness. You know what? Let's do 2 more. No, not 2 more. I'm joking. I do need to eat. I think, I wonder how complicated the next panels we have. Look, okay, instead of mumbling to myself, I'll mumble to you. I'm thinking out loud. I'm gonna take a look at the next panels that we have after this one, and see how like complicated they are, because I want to kind of like gauge what I'm gonna do next stream, right? Like, is it just gonna be line art still, or are we gonna start getting into the colors, right? And if we aren't gonna get into the colors, then that'll be really cool. I also might get some help with the colors, because it's already the 26th of the month, and I've been working on this thing for so long now that I've been doing it just purely on stream. because I'm doing it. Ooh, hello. What did I change tools to? Yeah, but because I've been doing it purely on stream, I don't get as much done as I normally would have, right? Because prior to doing it on stream, I would do it for much longer periods, because I would sit in all sorts of weird positions to keep things fresh and moving, and also kind of like play not just music in the background, but all sorts of other things that I can't on stream. All sorts of other things that I just wouldn't be able to do while streaming. And also, I don't have the time anymore to do these outside of streaming. There's just a lot of factors. But I really just want to get the next episode out, and it's been so long, you know? And I want to be able to keep the momentum going, not just for me as a creator, but for the audience, for anyone who's reading it. It's like, what's happening? And I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm trying, but I'm just me. And this is how fast I work as a solo person. Okay. Oh, that's a nice curve. Don't you think? Good. Let's get this going. Oh my. Alright, we're so close to finishing our final panel for today's stream. I hope you learned lots of things about lots of things. I talked a bunch about line art, and I talked a bunch about other things related to drawing and creative work and all that kind of jazz. I hope some of it was coherent enough to be valuable to you. I tried to keep not stay on topic. That's definitely not true. I did not try that hard to stay on topic, but at least I did try to bring it back. So I hope you enjoyed that. As we are finishing up, we just got a little bit more left to go. Oh, a lot. Yeah, okay. Ooh. Okay. Little bit. Oh, yes. Ladies and gentlemen, we are so close. We're so close. I can taste it like I can taste my dinner, which I'm about to have. Yeah, you can taste it. You can taste the finishing up, the wrapping things up. Yes, we're so close. Oh my gosh. Aggression. Use aggression. Final push. I love. Yeah. Okay. Yes. Yes. And then, yes. A bit. Yes. 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 Okay. Yes. One more little bit is here. And we go to here. No. Full send. Give me. Excuse me. I said raw. Oh my god. Cooperate. Okay? Stay consistent. Good. I was tired of doing it that way, so I decided to just free hand that second line there. And it looks perfectly fine. Perfect. There we go. Give it a save. Huzzah! We finished it and we're in the final home stretch. We just have these panels left. Oh, it's so nice. Okay, so next time we stream, we're gonna do this panel here. So we've got one, like, kind of, and we've got this. Okay, that one's a simple one. That one, yeah. And then, okay, this is a bit of a complex one because there's some background. And then we got this, okay. And then here, it's just two people. Okay, that's not the end of the world. Okay, let's give it a save. And that is going to be it, everybody. I'm going to bring it back to where we left things off with this very, very concerned face. Which is missing one line. Okay, so I'm gonna wrap things up while I add that one line in. I say like just like lose the ability to speak. And that is it. That's it. That's all she wrote. That's the entire stream. I'm gonna go pee. I'm gonna go have dinner. You should do the same if it is not dinner time for you. I don't know, like eat when you're hungry, and make sure to drink water and do all of those things, all those fun things that you need to do in order to live and have a nice. For me, it's nighttime, but have a nice whatever time it is for you. And I hope to see you next time. If you fancy continuing to watch the process of making line art, and also we're gonna get into colors now. Finally. Oh, finally. It's been so long, or at least it feels like so long to me. That is everything. And of course, if you do want to check out the actual comic that we have spent this entire stream drawing, it is in the description as well. I hope you have a good snack. It's bathroom time.